friends, my name is Sigrid and you're watching Books and Beauty. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys that I recently went to Barnes & Noble for the second time in my entire life. Within like a 1 week span, because the first time was like the week before, and then I went back and I just spent a huge amount of money. Here's the thing. When you let someone like me with no self-control into a store that has all of the books that I could ever want, and they're just right there and they could just go home with me if I just pay a fee, like, I have to get them all. So yeah, I spent about $200 in Barnes & Noble, and so this is gonna be a really big haul. Okay, so to help me out, I wrote down all of the books that I got, and I highlighted the ones that I probably could have bought cheaper on Amazon. I had no signal when I went into the Barnes & Noble, so I couldn't check the Amazon version of all of the books that I got. So I really went with my gut, and my gut was wrong. A lot of these weren't significantly cheaper. I would say the only one that was really cheap was on Amazon, was like $6 difference, was the Instant Karma book. I think it was like maybe $6 cheaper on Amazon, but everything else was probably off by a few cents or maybe a couple of dollars. So either I could take it home instantly and have that instant gratification, or I wait a few days to get it with Prime. So, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I really enjoyed Barnes & Noble. The whole experience was kind of worth paying the extra few bucks. But yeah, so I wanted to start off by saying that I am a Barnes & Noble member now, and so I do get that 10% off, which actually saved me because my total was about 200, like mid 200, and then with the 10% off, it brought me back down to beginner 200. But I mean, I still think it's a lot of money, but I'm just so happy with all of the products that I got. So I'm super excited to show you guys. So some of the stuff that I got were on my wish list, and the other ones I had a very helpful person in the store who was just kind of like, well, if you like this book, you have to get this one because it's so good. And so I ended up buying everything that she, suggested, because I just really liked her vibe and I trusted her. Okay, so the first book that I got was The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics. I've heard a lot of things about this in the romance book community, so I really have always wanted to get this. I think it was $6.99 on Amazon, and it's been on my wish list, and I just was like, do you really need this book, Sigrid? And so when I saw it, I was like, it's right there, girl. And one of the good things is that when I took it to the counter, I didn't notice anything off about this book, but the cashier was like, well, it's a little worn, so I'm gonna discount it. So I actually ended up paying $5.66 for this. And I'm happy. So the next thing I got was The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. This is by Disha Filial. This has also been on my Amazon wish list for like so long. When it first came out, I knew that I wanted to get it. It looks really nice and it looks interesting to the point where I was like, I have to get it. However, this book was $17. And so I picked a few that were buy one, get one free, but one of them was not discounted, and so I think I ended up paying more. But yeah, I didn't see it until when I got home. And this was also another buy one get one free, but the sticker fell off, so that's why I think that it wasn't discounted. But this one is by N.K. Jemisin. I've heard great things about the author. I've always wanted to check out this book, but I haven't heard much about it, but I was like, why not? So this is How Long Till Black Future Month, and this book was $16.19. So I went to Barnes & Noble with one of my friends, and she suggested that we buddy read a book together, so she picked this. I really don't know much about this book, but if you say anything about Black and fantasy, I'm gonna buy the book. And so this is the first in a series. I think the newest one just came out. And so we're gonna read this, and if we like it, then we'll read the next book. But this is A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. I feel like this is a book that people say is one of their favorites, and they talk about it, but like, I don't know what it's about. So this was only $9.89. It's a nice floppy paperback. I'm super excited to read it and just love it. Okay, so this is the aforementioned book that is significantly cheaper on Amazon. I did not know this. So I paid, foolishly, I paid $17.09 for this book. It has been on my wish list for a really long time, I feel like, and so I really wanted it, and I was like, Sigrid, it's right there, you might as well get it. And so I got it, and then I realized that it's like $11 on Amazon for the same hardcover edition. Okay, so the next book that I purchased is The Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. This is a book that I actually ended up DNFing in January because I just wasn't in the mood to read it. I think I was reading it via audiobook, and I feel like I really need the physical copy to actually get into it. So I went ahead and got it because the summary of the book just really entices me. I love the idea of trans representation and having a brujo. Like, I love anything about magic, so this book just really was up my alley. So I paid $16.19 for this, and it is cheaper on Amazon. Oh, I guess I should say which ones were cheaper on Amazon. So this book is cheaper on Amazon. I don't know how much, but like I know that I highlighted them. The Secret Lives of Church Ladies is cheaper on Amazon. Instant Karma is cheaper, and yeah, this is also cheaper. I think this is like $8 and something. Or it might just be $9 and like a few cents difference. The next book I got, I know it's not cheaper on Amazon because I got this for half off, and it ended up being $4.94 for this book. I do not regret it at all. This has actually been on my wish list for so long. I've heard nothing but great things about Tiffany D. Jackson. I've actually read one of her latest novels, Grown, and I really loved it. And so it inspired me to go and get one of her earlier works. So I think this is a thriller, and I'm super excited to read it. The next book that I want to talk about is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is one of my favorite books. I rated it 5 stars, and I currently have the paperback of the second book. And so I decided to complete my collection because I know this is one of the books that I want to keep forever. This book was $9.89. We're gonna get into a little contemporary fiction. So I was actually suggested this book because of another book that I picked up, and I just kind of mentioned to the salesperson that I really like books that have healthy representation of bigger individuals and, you know, plus size women. Love that. You don't really see it that often, and so when she mentioned this book and showed me the cover, I was here for it. I had to get it. Like, I'm always here for it. Okay, so It's Been a Pleasure, Nomi Blake, and this is by Claire Christian. So this was $15.29, and yes, it was cheaper on Amazon. Okay, so this is the book that I picked up that she started the recommendation. This has been on my wish list for so long. I feel like I wanted it ever since it came out, and I just didn't get it. And I heard people talking about it and how good it was, and I was like, I have to get it. And so when I got this, she kind of just gave me other things because of it. But yeah, super excited about this. So this was $14.39, and yes, it was cheaper on Amazon. The next book is a romance book that everyone is talking about, and I recently saw a video from Mayana and she was talking about this book, I think, and I had to get it because she talked about it. So this is The Roommate by Rosie Dannon. I think it follows a girl who gets a roommate who's a guy, and he's a porn star. So instant buy. Instant buy for me, because I'm like, there's going to be so much like intense stuff in this book. So I paid $14.40 for this, and cheaper on Amazon. So the next book was Something to Talk About. This is a lesbian romance, and I think it was recommended to me by the salesperson because I got this book, and so she was like, well, you have to get this book. And so I got it. I read the synopsis and I was like, oh, this sounds really interesting. I might as well get it. So this book was $14.40, and yes, it was cheaper on Amazon. The next book I got because this was a Once Upon a Book Club pick, but I did not get that particular box. And so the book actually looked really interesting to me. This is a romance involving 2 radio co-hosts. And so I was like, oh, that's really interesting. It's a unique plot. I'm super intrigued. I paid $14.40 for this, and yes, it was one of those that was cheaper on Amazon. So I did ask a salesperson for recommendations for new and interesting YA fiction, and so she picked this up and she said, well, you have to read this. Like, this is an amazing book, and another one I'm going to get to. But this is by Libba Bray. She is the author of the Diviners series. I haven't read it, but I've heard nothing but great things about her. And so this is called A Great and Terrible Beauty. The way that it was described to me was that it's kind of like boarding school, but with like magic, I believe, or supernatural kind of things. And so like I was sold. I love anything like that that's like the perfect theme, is it not? Like, it always works out really well for me. This was $9.89. Yeah, it was cheaper on Amazon, but yeah. One good sign, if you're talking to someone who loves books and they just get really, really excited and they start jumping up and just like waving their hands frantically and they're talking about a series, get that book, because I know when I talk about a book that was like so good to me, I'm like literally like excited. I can't control my joy. I just want you to feel the way I feel when I read that book. And so like everybody was like jumping around, and even when I checked out, like, and I got all of these damn books, literally the cashier was like, "You're gonna love Soulless," and I'm like, I have to read this book. Like, it obviously is good. So yeah. So basically, this is the one like synopsis I'm gonna go into, because like I read it and I was like, "Ooh, this is really good." So basically, in this fantasy like world, people have souls. If you have souls, then you can return after you die as some type of magical creature, like a vampire or a werewolf or something. So the main character in this book that it's following, she doesn't have a soul. So her power is that she can counteract anyone else's power. That is so cool. It's unique, and I can't wait to freaking read this book. I'm so excited. I'm just really happy with everything that I bought. Even though it was a huge splurge for me, I feel like I haven't really went and just indulged in book shopping in a really, really long time. And so, no regrets. None at all. So I hope you guys like this haul. I haven't done one in a really, really long time. And so if you guys want to see more of this, wait, I don't really buy a lot of books. I usually get them in book subscriptions. So if I do it again, I'll do another haul, but this is kind of like a once in a blue moon kind of thing. I don't normally do this, okay? But yeah, so that was the end of the video. If you guys read any of these books, please leave in the comments what you thought about them. And yeah, until next time, I will see you. Bye.